The function f graphed in the xy plane above for how many values of x does f of x is equal 3? F of x is equal 3, the same as the straight line y is equal 3. And we know that y is equal 3 is a horizontal line which passes through the point 3 and parallel to the x-axis. So clearly we can see that this straight line intersected the curve at 4 points. So the answer is C. The straight line y is equal 3 is intersecting the curve at 3 points. But notice that if he's asking for f of x is equal to 0, it means the intersection points with x-axis, intersection points with x-axis, and in this case it's going to be 3 points. So the answer here is C. The graph of the function f is shown is in the xy plane is f of a is equal f of 3. So we need to figure out first what is the function of f of 3. F of 3 means you go to the point 3 and see what is the intersection with the curve. So we can see clearly that f of 3 is equal to negative 2. It can be also written as order pair 3 and negative 2. So I wanted to find which point on the x-axis that gives me the same answer. So it's clearly that f of negative 3 is also equal to negative 2. So the answer is B, negative 3. In the portion of xy plane shown above, how many values for f of x is equal to g of x? And f of x is equal to g of x means the intersection points of f of x and g of x. So we can see clearly that I have 3 intersection points here. F of x intersects g of x at 3 points. So the answer is D. The answer is D. So f of x is equal to 3x plus 2 and g of x is equal f of 2x minus 1. If I wanted to find g of 10, it means that x is equal to 10. So it's equal f 2 by 10 is 20 minus 1. F of 20 means I'm going to replace this x with 20. So 3 multiplied 20 plus 2, and the answer is minus 1. So it's 60 plus 2 minus 1, which is equal to 61. For which of the following functions is true? F of negative 3 is equal f of 3. To have a function that replacing two values give you the same, it should be a second degree functions directly. Why? Because in case of replacing x square and you replace x with negative 3 or 3, in both cases the answer is going to be 9. But for the reciprocal function or the fractional function, it will not be the same. For the cubic, if you put negative 2 or negative 3 to the power of 3 and 3 to the power of 3, if the first one is negative, it will give you answer is negative. And if the second one is positive, it will give you answer as a positive. And the last one is a straight line, and you will never find two values on the straight line giving the same. So directly, I'm looking for the second degree equations. The meaning f of x is equal to x squared plus 1 and g of x is equal to x squared minus 1, and I wanted to find fg of 2, it means that I gotta find the value of g of 2 first, then I plug in the value in f. So g of 2 is 2 to the power of 2 minus 1, which is 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3. So I gotta find f of 3. So I plug in x is with 3 in f. So 3 to the power of 2 plus 1, which is equal to 10. So the right answer is C. Type. If I have a function and I wanted to find the form of these functions by using the x-intercept, I may look at the point that intersects the x-axis. This point is intersecting the x-axis and 2. But if you wanted to put it in bracket, it's going to be x minus 2. And this point intersected the x-axis at negative 2. If you wanted to add it to brackets, it should be x plus 2. So I should have these two brackets at the front of my eyes. So the answer is not A and the answer is not B because it doesn't have these two brackets. Notice that if you are intersecting the x-axis, the power is 1. But at the point 0, point 0 here could be x squared, could be x power 3, could be half x. It's any term in terms of x. But since it's a turning point, it should be to the power of even 2 or 4 or 6. So the right answer is C. Why? I have x squared and the two intersection points. Why it's not D? Because I don't have the intersection point with the x-axis. So the right answer is C. In the graph of f of x, fx has x intercepts at -3 and 2. So the function could be like this, the function could be like that, could be open downward or open upward, could be like this, it could be a turning point, but all what I know that since it's intersect at -3, so it's supposed to be in the bracket as x plus 3, and 2 it's supposed to be x minus 2. So it cannot be C, it cannot be D. Why? Because this sign is negative and that sign is positive. So how I make sure that the answer is A or B? It gives me a hint here. It says that the y-intercept is equal to 12. And the meaning of y-intercept that at x is equal to 0, y is equal to 12. So I have intersection point at 12. So let's plug in at the first one, A. So 0 plus 3 squared times 0 minus 2, which is equal to -18. So the answer is not A, so directly the answer should be B. In the xy plane, the function y is equal ax plus 12, where a is a constant. So negative a and a, it means that I'm going to replace x with negative a and y with a. So replace y with a is equal a multiplied by negative a plus what? Plus 12. A multiplied negative a is negative a squared plus 12 is equal to a. By moving these to the other side, so a squared plus a minus 12 is equal to 0. I need to factorize here. So I gotta open two brackets. Last sign is negative, so one is positive and the other is negative. And two numbers, their product is 12 and the difference is 1. So it's 4 and 3. And why I put 4 at the positive? Because the greatest value take the sign of the middle. So I have to answer for x. X could be -4 or x could be 3. Of course, I'm going to choose the 3. Why? Because in the grid, there is no negative, and because it says here that a is positive greater than 0. So the right answer is x is equal to 3. I have a table which represent the values of f of x. And it gives me a given that g of x is equal to y's f of x. So g of x is equal to y's f of x. And g of k, so it's the same as twice f of k is equal to 8. So let's solve this part. By dividing both terms by 2, so f of k is equal to 4. F of k is equal to 4. Notice that I'm going to look at this column, which one is equal to 4. So it's f of 3. It's f of 3. So k is equal to 3. Don't go and find f of 4 because f of 4 is 8 and you have the answer of 8. So it's 3. So have f of a is equal to 10. So for sure, if have f of a is equal to 10, so f of a is equal to 20 by multiplying both by 2. So what is f of a? It's -3 and replacing x with a plus 5 is equal to 20. By subtracting 5 from both sides, so -3a is equal to 15. And by dividing both by -3, so a is equal to -5. So the answer is B. The graph of the function y is equal to 9 minus x squared is showing in the xy plane what is the length of AB. If I wanted to find the length of AB, so I need to define the intersection point with the y-axis and intersection point with the x-axis. I have a function y is equal to 9 minus x squared. If I wanted to find the intersection point with the y-axis, I'm going to replace x with 0. So 9 minus 0 squared, which is equal to 9. So y is equal to 9, or actually a is equal to 9. So this point is 9. And to find the point B, I gotta replace y with 0. So 9 minus x squared is equal to 0. So x squared is equal to 9. So x is equal positive and negative 3. So this point is 3 and that point is negative 3. So I have the point B as 3. Now I'm not allowed to use calculator to solve this question. So this distance is 9. This distance is 3. So I can use Pythagorean as the length AB is equal to the root of 3 square plus 9 square. And the root of 3 square is 9. And the root of 9 square is 81. So it's root of 90. So it's not 3 root 2 and it's not 9. And of course it's not 9 root 2. So I'm sure that the answer is B. But if you wanted to simplify, you know that 90 is 9 by 10. 9 outside the root is 3. So it's a 3 root 10. What is the equation of the straight line parallel to the y-axis? Since you are finding equation of a straight line parallel to the y-axis, so the equation is not y, the equation is x. And 3 units to the right, here is the origin. So 3 units to the right of the origin, so intersect at the point 3. So x is equal to 3. So if I want to find the slope of the given straight line L, so I can find the straight line parallel to it. Parallel, it means that they have the same slope. Directly to find the slope, I can use rise over run. So from this point to 1, 2, 3. So I raised 3 and ran 2. So the slope is 3 over 2. So it cannot be A, it cannot be B, it cannot be D. So I'm sure that the answer is what? C. The intersection point for the point here is negative 4. So the straight line will be parallel to L and passing through the point negative 4. So the right answer is C. The line y is equal negative 2x is perpendicular to the line L if the two lines have the same y-intercept. Which of the following could be the equation of the line L? The slope of this given line y is equal negative 2x minus 2. The slope is negative 2. So required slope, which is the slope of the perpendicular, is opposite reciprocal. And I mean by opposite reciprocal that opposite means if this one is negative, this one is positive. And reciprocal is going to be 1 over 2. I flip the fractions. So I'm looking for which straight line its slope is half, which is D. And he told me that they have the same y-intercept, which is negative 2. So the right answer is D. The straight line given to you here, slope is positive because it's moving from down to up. And the B or the y-intercept here is negative. As we can see, the intercept part here is negative. So when I multiply negative by positive, negative multiplied by positive should be negative. And negative is smaller than 0. So the right answer is B. H is equal 100 minus 3D. I can write it as negative 3D plus 100. So here is the slope, which is the rate, and here is the starting or the initial value. So since it's negative, so it's decreasing by 3 feet every day. It's not increasing. And 100 is the total amount of the water inside the aquarium. Because B is the total value and H is the number of hours that have passed since the store opening. So I think that the right answer is the baker sells 18 loaves of bread each hour, because negative 18 per hour means that you are losing about negative 18 bread each hour. A membership website offers video tutorials programming. The number of members M subscribe the site can be estimated by M is equal 500 plus 200 N, where is N is the number of videos as N available on the site. Based on the equation, طبعا احنا عارفين النمبر of members M. The site was able to get 500 members without any valuable videos. Yes, why? Because if you replace N with 0, M is gonna be 500 plus 200 multiplied by 0. So the number of members is 500. So before to upload anything, it was having 500 members. So the right answer is C. Based on the model, how many seconds does each image increase the model load time on the web page? To solve this equation, I should write t in the form of 2 over 5x plus 9 over 5. So it should be equation in the form of y equal mx plus b. So with each increasing of x1, the value of y is increasing by the slope. So the answer is 2 over 5. 2 or 0.4. You can write it 0.4 or 2 over 5. So notice that with every increasing of the image, 1, the value of the time increased by the slope. In the xy plane, what is the distance between the two x-intercepts? It's clear for us that the equation y is equal x squared minus 3x minus 10. The coefficient here is positive, so it's the second degree that look forward upward or open upward. So to find the x-intercepts, I need to solve the equation to find the x-intercept axis. I need to plug in y is equal to 0 or solve the equation equal to 0. So I gotta open two brackets, x and x. Here the sign is negative, so one is positive and the other is negative. Negative is, for example, it's 2 by 5, so negative 5 and positive 2, because the bigger take the sign of the middle, so x is equal to 5 or x equal to negative 2. So this point is negative 2 and this point is 5. What is the distance? The horizontal distance between negative 2 and 5 is 7. So the distance between the x-intercepts of this equation is 7. Since I have solving for the equation and the answer in form of root, so I gotta use the quadratic formula. Negative b positive negative root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So x is equal, a is 1, b is 4, and c is 2. So negative 4 positive negative root of 4 squared minus 4 by 1 by 2 over by 2 by 1. So x is equal negative 4 plus or minus root of 16 minus 8, and 16 minus 8 is equal to 8 divided by 2. Now I gotta split them, so it's negative 4 over 2 plus or minus root 8 over 2, which is equal negative 2, and 2 inside the root is 4, so 8 divided by 4 is root 2. Or I can say that 8 is equal to root 2. So the answer is root 2. So the final answer is negative 2 positive and negative root of 2. So the answer is 8. Something which is very important about the general equation ax squared of quadratic equal to 0. That the sum of roots is equal negative coefficient of b over a. And the product of the roots is equal c over a. So I need to expand this bracket first, so I can do it by the traditional method, 2x minus 3 multiplied to x minus 3. So it's 4x squared and negative 6x and negative 6x and positive 9. So it's 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Then I put this one here, equal 4x plus 5. By moving positive 4 and positive 5, it's gonna be 4x squared minus 16x plus 4 is equal to 0. So if I wanted to find the sum, it's negative coefficient of x, which is negative 16, over a, which is equal to 4. So the sum of the two roots is equal to 4. Y is equal negative 3, and all of you know that y is equal negative 3 is a straight line parallel to the x-axis and passing through the point y is equal negative 3. So here. And the parabola y is equal x squared plus cx. Here is the parabola y is equal x squared. Here is y is equal x squared. If I'm looking for plus outside the parabola or negative, the parabola will goes up or move down. This is the question. So if it's y is equal x squared minus 4x, if I plug in c with 4 and taking x as highest common factor, so I have two intersection points at the point 0 and at the point 4. So here is the point 0 and here is the point 4. So may the parabola go down a little bit between 0 and 4. But for 1, x squared plus 1x and taking x as highest common factor is gonna be x and x plus 1, right? So the intersection at 0 and 1, for this one at 0 and 2, for that one at 0 and 3. So how I can recognize that they are going to be intersected, or how far the point will move down? This is the question. So for which of the following, this is just a previous definition for the graph. For this one, I can replace y with -3. So x squared plus 6x is equal to -3. And I can move -3 down. So it's x squared plus cx plus 3 is equal to 0. Positive 3, it means that when you open two brackets, both of them is going to be positive. And one of them is 3 and 1. It should, because it's a prime. So it's x plus 3 and x plus 1, or x minus 3 and x minus 1. So the sum of 1 and 3 is 4. So the answer should be -4. Why? Because the sum of 1 and 3 is equal to 4. And this sign could be negative for both of the two brackets. Which of the following equation presented a parabola shown in the xy plane? It's clear for us that this parabola is passing through the point 1 and 5. So it's x minus 1 and x minus 5, right? I have two intersection points, right? And I have the vertex. The vertex is at the point 3 and -8. So which one of these? This one is in the form of 3 and -8, because h is 3 and the point is -8. And that one the same. No, this is -3 and 8. This one is 3 and -8, and that one is also 3 and -8. Why? Because we have a vertex says that ax minus h squared plus k, so the vertex is h and k. But which one? So I canceled b, but what is the right answer? Is it a or c or d? So it's better to plug in x with 1 and to figure out that the answer is 0. If you plug x here with 1, 1 minus 3 is -2. -2 squared is 4, so it's not 0. And if you plug x here with 1, 1 minus 3 is -2. Power 2 is 4. 4 multiplied by 2 by 8. And 8 minus 8 is 0. So here is the right answer. Again, I plug in x with 1 to give me what? Y is 0. Or I can say when I replace x with 1, y is equal to 0. So the right answer is C. Any question, second degree, and he is asking for the maximum or minimum value, so he is looking about the vertex. You can solve this question by two methods. First method, that by taking t highest common factor, so 5 minus t. When you make this equation equal to 0, so you have intersection point at 0 and at 5. And since the coefficient of t is negative, so it's a maximum turning point. So of course the turning point is at the middle, and the middle at 2.5. So the answer is 2.5. Or the second method, that you arrange it in the equation of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So a is equal to -1 and b is equal to 5. And if you remember, if I wanted to find the vertex, it's -b over 2a. So it's -5 multiplied 2 by -1, which is also 2.5. So where is the maximum value of t of v at t is equal to 2.5. So f of x is equal to -x squared plus 6x plus 20. This is a general form ax squared plus bx plus c. If I wanted to find the vertex of the general form, it's -b over 2a and its function. So x coordinates is negative, and the b here is 6, and 2a, which is 2 by -1. So it's -6 over -2, -b over 2a. So it is equal to 3. So if I wanted to put it in the vertex form, it's gonna be x minus 3. But I have negative outside, right? It doesn't matter. It's supposed to be -3. It's supposed to be what? -3. So the answer is A or B, not C or D. Why? Because I'm going to form it in the form ax minus h squared plus k, and h here is equal to 3. Now let's expand this one. Negative and bracket to the power of 2 give me 3 terms. Plus 29. So it's negative x squared plus 6x minus 9 plus 29. And positive 29 with negative 9 is positive what? Positive 20. So the right answer is B. The right answer is B. If the initial population, since I'm talking about population, people usually it's not a constant rate. Of course, population is not a constant rate. Of rats was 20. So this is the initial value. And grow to 25 after the second year. So it was 20 and increased to 25. So it increased by 5. If the model population rats represented the number of years, of course, the population growth rate, it's not a linear. It's not a linear. So I'm not increasing 5 every year or 5 by the time. Okay, and of course it's not a quadratic, because it's a quadratic is represented by this. I have a minimum and maximum, and this is not represent the populations. So it's B or C. We all remember that the total value is equal principal or initial value multiply 1 plus the rate over 100 to the power of t. So the initial value is 20 and the power of time. But what is the rate? From 20 to 25 I increased by 5. And 5 over 20 represents 25%. So it's 1.25. So the right answer is B. Again, to find the rate that I'm increasing every year, don't say that I'm increasing 5. No, it's increasing quarter, because 5 represents a quarter of 20. Quarter of 20. The population of the forest, since population, so it's a growth, and its exponential growth function has been decreasing 6. So it's not exponential growth, it's exponential decay. 60% for every 4 years. So the time here is 4 years to have a whole value. And decreasing by 60%, it means that P, the initial, 1 minus 6% to the power of the time. And the time here per year, supposed to be per year. So every 4 years means that after 1 year is the quarter. So it's not a linear, okay, and it's not A because we didn't add 1.6. So I'm going to think about C or D. And it says that every 4 years this percent decreased. If I put the time here with 1, it means 4 by 1. So after 4 years, then multiplied by 1, which is not right. So the right answer is D. Why? Here is the initial value. Here is 1 minus 0.06, which is 0.94, and time divided by 4. So after 4 years, 4 divided by 4 is going to give me 1, and this will be occurrence for decreasing of 6%. A scientist counts 80 cells in a Petri dish. Find each of the splits into 2 new cells. So every one is going to be 2, 2 is going to be 4, 4 is going to be 8, and so on. So this is exponential functions. Calculate the total number of the cells per T hours, which is the time assigned to be correct in C and R. So the initial value is 80, which is, so C is equal to 80, so I'm supposed to cancel A. And the ratio, which is 1 plus the ratio, and the ratio is 100%, because every one time you are going to take that double. So it's 1 plus 1, which is equal to what? To 2. So the ratio is equal to 2. Okay.